coming over the top, it was nice. Little McKinley was fun. Oh yeah, this is zooming. Good traction and yeah, that was good. Then down on the bay, brisk damn wind.
Can you talk about the ice on the bay? It looks pretty.
Boy, not everybody's got leaders that'll go on that flare ice with not even a track. And for so far, I felt so lucky to have Zig and Peter just beeline from marker to marker. But otherwise, it's just completely naked bald ice. And they front all the dogs got some real good rhythm on the ice, except the wheel dogs are more prone to getting knocked down by the tow line. So we were pretty much adjusting the speed to that which those wheel dogs could do. But and if there was the teeniest little gust of wind and we all just blew over. If it blew for real, there'd nobody get up there. We'd be crawling the bank because it is really slippery and it's pretty funny. Just a little poof of wind and we all just went woo.
How about your hour and a half rest in Elam? Talk about your decision.
Well, I've had some long days since the Yukon, and I have only once not rested between Koyuk and here, and it was a mistake, a big mistake. So I'll never do that again. I really had a spectacular run from Koyuk to Elam. The dogs were flying. With the exception of the first 8 or 10 miles out of Koyuk, I thought I was going to push the button on my spot tracker to have someone come take me away, because it was the first 10 miles out of Koyuk. It was horrendous. Logs and ice and turns and rocks, and thank God it wasn't that way more than 10 miles. And then we hit that portage and it was beautiful, and it's the best trip from across Moses Point I've ever had. And it's really weird for me to see what the lay of the land is like because there's no snow on it. I can now see what was water and what's gravel and what's grass. And we were flying through there. And I really thought that I would open up a big space between me and Allie, because as I have done many times, I underestimated the speed of her team or what she'd get out of it, but she was only a few minutes behind me in Elam. So she must have had a great run too, because mine was really, really, really great. So I stopped in Elam. Remembered the last time I went and laid down at Elam for a little nap. And decided I didn't want to do that. And well, things were quite a bit different. I was just glad to see Allie pulled in. I didn't think she was going to stay long, but I thought it was conceivable she would just go right through, in which case I would have cut my rest shorter, but I would not have cut it altogether. But my dogs have been eating right when I get into a checkpoint, and then they don't want any more. So I've been carrying food from one place to the next, and they ate very well at Elam, and a few of them drank, And an hour and a half's enough. At least I thought it was. And it's potentially too much for if you got all these guys coming up from behind. But anyway, I thought it was about worth the gamble. And I immediately decided it was a safe gamble because they took off right down through the village with no hesitation and out onto the river. We went onto the river for about a mile. Then they cut us up into the hills to get us off the ice, and there was a lot of long pulls and steep descents, but with a good trail. And I admit I've been noticing Allie's hobbling around. She clearly has a bum leg for some reason. And I know the harnesses she chooses are one I've used in the past. And they have a lot of positive attributes, but their downside is when you really need them to pull, they can't pull as hard. And these hills were, my guess is I put some space between us because of the equipment chosen. I never saw her or her light anywhere until I timed it when I went out onto the Golovin Bay, came down off the hillside. And I saw a light about the time I got to Golovin, and it had taken me about a half an hour, so I assumed at that point she was about a half hour behind me. That's all. I had a great run through Golovin, and I say that because it seems like they're not always. Even though the dogs have never ever stopped there, they are generally willing to suggest that we do. And they did, but it just took a couple corrections and clarifications, and off onto the ice they went again.
How else are you feeling physically?
I feel remarkably good. You know, I battled sore shoulders and elbows and forearms and hands and even lower back throughout the winter, enough that I went to the doctor several times trying to get it straightened out. And we made no progress, but it's all gone now. It's just nothing like bumping down the trail for me to have stuff loosen up, and that's all it is for me. I'm totally serious that I believe that's why. I've had it happen before when I go moose hunting in my Argo. Any aches and pains I have just rattle away. Contrary to what you would think, it seems like I should have some new ones, but I really don't.
And what about your dogs physically? How are they?
Did you not see them come in?
I did see them come in.
They're doing, they're perfectly gated. I haven't had a limp, you know. One time I took a dog out of my trailer and he limped right when he got out, and I think he'd been laying in there bouncing on it and something. But it is almost the same with them. It seems like if you baby them and 12-mile runs around the home, somebody's bound to get a sprain, something or other. We get out here, when I watch those two come most of the night, but in particular when, I don't know, I don't believe I do it, but my team charges these checkpoints with more reckless abandon than it seems many other teams do. No matter how tired they are, they dig deep and just have to make me step on the brake to come in. But anyway, I was watching some of them trotting. It seemed like way over 15 miles an hour, just smooth as glass. And you couldn't do that at home without all this pre-conditioning that the race has done. I did find it interesting that Allie and I are in the 1 and 2 position at the moment. You know, those dogs did just come off the quest, and I made a very concerted effort to put 1,000 miles on my dogs just before the race, trying to mimic a 1,000-mile event to some degree. And here we are. Certainly my dogs are in great condition, and so are hers. And so I think that is another check in the column of this long, slow distance training prior to the event.
Jeff, you had a few missteps since you've come back from retirement the last couple of years. What made the difference this year to get you in here first?
It is the preparation and the implementation of a plan, not to go over 10 miles an hour, and to I think be very steady. And we have all this training, more training than I ever have done, and that says a lot because I've been training dogs a long time. But so that's what I think it is, an implementation of the best we know about right now in long, slow training and speed control. I really think those are the two things.
How's that big hill coming down into Gulliver with no snow that's always so
Horrible.
fast?
Yeah, I mean, I thought of you as I went down because you wondered, oh, that's not going to be fun. Well, it wasn't. It's a hair-raising experience. Somebody could easily wipe out and go tumbling down. Well, fairly